ये जो इंडिया है ना, it just got hit by Hurricane Nupur. On 26th May, Nupur Sharma, BJP's national spokesperson, insulted Prophet Muhammad on a news channel. Muslims in India were outraged, but as expected, nothing happened. On the 1st of June, Naveen Jindal, BJP's Delhi media head, also insulted Prophet Muhammad in a tweet. Again, nothing happened. Bigotry and anti-Muslim hate from some prominent BJP and Hindutva leaders is now common. Little or no action taken against them is also common. But from 4th June onwards, Qatar, UAE, Kuwait, Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, Bahrain, Libya, Jordan, Maldives, even Pakistan, even the Taliban, Turkey, Malaysia, country after country protested using the strongest of words. India's ambassadors were hauled in and angry protests were registered. Social media was full of calls to boycott Indian goods and businesses in the Middle East. On 5th June, 10 days after her comment, Nupur Sharma was suspended and Jindal was expelled from the BJP. But it was too late. Hurricane Nupur had already become one of India's worst diplomatic disasters ever. Ye jo India hai na, it has a number of questions about the drama we have all seen in the last few days. First, why this gap of 10 days between Nupur Sharma's comments and her suspension? The answer to that, sadly, is simple. Because the sentiments of our own crores of Muslim citizens didn't matter to us. We only responded when Muslim nations, when Muslims abroad were outraged, when our image abroad took a beating, when the diplomatic mess began to unfold, when the prospect of political and economic consequences became real. But should this have mattered more than the feelings of our own citizens? This tweet by actor Farhan Akhtar sums up the disappointment of India's Muslims. After Nupur Sharma withdrew her statement, he said, "A forced apology is never from the heart." And so the next question, why did the BJP punish Nupur Sharma and Jindal? Because the Middle East matters a lot. 60% of India's oil comes from the Middle East. Almost 1 crore Indians live and work in the Gulf. Laborers, nurses, drivers, technicians, doctors, bankers, businessmen, and they send roughly $55 billion back to India every year. It's a huge part of India's economy. The UAE is India's third biggest trade partner after the US and China. Saudi Arabia and Iraq are at number 4 and number 5. Our trade with just these 3 countries, all of whom we have just antagonized, stands at $150 billion annually. But strangely, the BJP spokespersons either didn't know all this or they didn't care that someday there would be a price to pay for all the bigotry and hate that plays out daily on our news channels and social media. Even now, the action against Nupur Sharma and Jindal appears to be more of a tactic, a strategic retreat to diffuse the outrage and not an admission that something is truly badly wrong with our social and political fabric. Another question many are asking is, why is India paying for the blunder of the BJP? Why is India sounding apologetic? Why are Indian ambassadors across the Gulf cleaning up the mess when it was 2 BJP spokespersons who insulted Prophet Muhammad? Unfortunately, these are valid questions. India's foreign policy in the Middle East, our excellent relations with the Gulf countries is the result of decades of careful diplomacy, cultivating economic relations, embracing one another culturally. The PM himself has worked hard at this. So, is it fair that a BJP spokesperson should be able to demolish all those years of rishton ki jama punji? It's not. But it has happened and it will take years to repair. Another question being asked is this: why did India's ambassador to Qatar say that Nupur Sharma and Naveen Jindal's remarks were the views of fringe elements? Can the BJP's national spokesperson and Delhi's BJP media head be called fringe elements? Nupur Sharma's Twitter account is followed by Modi, Rajnath Singh, Nitin Gadkari and other top leaders. Naveen Jindal is followed by all top Delhi BJP leaders. Also, what does national spokesperson mean? It means that Nupur Sharma speaks for the BJP at the national level. Her thoughts, her words are the BJP's thoughts and BJP's words. Plain and simple. So no, she and Jindal were not fringe elements. And a related question is this: fringe or non-fringe, is there any plan to actually deal with hate speech in India? The straight answer, if there is a plan, we don't see it. If anything, fringe wale ho ya party spokespersons, news channels ho ya election speeches ya dharam sansads, the shrillness, the frequency, the crassness of hate speeches across India has only risen in recent months. Calls for the killing of Muslims, calls for the rape of Muslim women, calls to ignore the law of the land are being heard repeatedly. From bulldozer Raj to anti-conversion laws which we believe are against the constitution, with chief ministers almost competing in devising means to harass minorities, hate is only growing. And as we have now seen, the world is taking note. While we may hair split ke kaun fringe element hai, kaun non-fringe hai, the world does not see the difference between the bigotry of Yati Narsinganan and Nupur Sharma. In fact, even as the BJP censured Nupur Sharma, in true fringe element spirit, Yati Narsinganan has defended Nupur Sharma and even accused India's leaders of being scared, of being bought out by Islamic nations.
अभी जो नुपुर शर्मा के साथ उन्होंने किया, ये उनकी गलती नहीं है, ये भारत के कायर नेता का जो इस्लाम के जिहाद से कुछ डर गए हैं और कुछ बिक गए हैं, उनके कारण आज हमारी ये दुर्गति है.
The fact that he remains free despite multiple hate speech FIRs, despite repeatedly, publicly taunting the BJP leadership, exposes how tolerant we have actually become of hate. ये जो इंडिया है ना, here, as long as demonizing Muslims remains a key part of election strategy, Hindu khatre mein hai and it's all due to the Muslims, we will continue to see party spokespersons targeting India's Muslims in multiple ways. The thought process seems to be, if this wins us elections, then it's worth it. Yes, the Muslim world may mind, but that's collateral damage जिसे हम किसी तरह से संभाल लेंगे. Even now, I fear that is the cynical plan. And don't be surprised if Nupur Sharma is back on TV in just a few months.